What's going on? What's happening? Good afternoon. 1 p.m. at the same time that we're going to meet every single weekday. If you keep showing up, we're going to keep showing up. And I am Jerry Bow at Jerry Bow Sports. Just a little piece of this engine that tries to get it moving every single afternoon. Tries to get you a daily dose of sports and entertainment. And I can't do it by myself. I got to do it with my man Aaron Raybold at Aaron is Blitz. What's going on, brother?
What's up, brother? Excited for a new show today. We got plenty on it. We always get to the end of the show and we go, oh crap, we didn't get to half the stuff we wanted to. Today's gonna be like that. I don't even know if we'll get to a third of the stuff we want to right now.
No,
we got so much going on.
There's so much to get to, and then like we needed more stuff to get to. We ended up adding marbles to the equation. I know you guys are enjoying that. I know there's been some conspiracy theories going on. I hear there's Deflategate of the marbles going on. Well, we're even adding a different game today. We got one just like the marbles, but it's cars instead. So anyway, everybody out there, and I'm pretty sure we're almost close to filling these squares up. So again, the top 5 that get in will get an extra square, and then we'll figure it out from there. We're hopefully it's up to Aaron. We'll run it at halftime, and then maybe we'll run it after injury time, depending on how that goes. But again, first, like always, shout out, yo to everyone. Aggie Milkman in the house, Chuck D, Alex Villanueva, Johnny Casham. What's up, Johnny Casham? Marbles. Yeah, marbles. And we're going to have some more of that. Biggie, you lost your title yesterday. He's here to try to redeem himself and get it back, bring it back home for the family. We will do that. Remember, it's exclamation point play, no spaces. So as soon as the game pops up, exclamation point play, and you will be in, and you can get in on the show as well. 281-522-6336. Don't be out there scared right now, a little shy or timid. If you feel a certain type of way about anything we say, if you say, Jerry, you're way out of line here, I got to get in on this. Give us a call. We're going to put you right through, and I'll even hook you up with 3 days free in the group. But we got so much to get to, and if you want to get anything in on the Twitch, we'll try to bring it out throughout this show. We try to make it interactive, but let's get to the topics for today because, like Aaron said, there's so much to get to. And we're going to start with NBA Gone Wild. It really started yesterday right before our show, but we waited a little bit to see how things panned out. But now that we see where the direction of things, like, for example, Tyrese Halliburton's gone to the Pacers in a trade that, you know, getting these young guys is a blessing. Like the NBA draft isn't like the NFL draft. In the NFL draft, it holds more equity having a top pick. In the NBA draft, it's not the same. It's if you get lucky, but you can get a lot of diamonds in the rough at the back end or whatnot. But Tyrese Halliburton, that was a diamond. I'm not even gonna say diamond in the rough. He was supposed to be good, but that boy is a diamond, and he is young. And him, as well as Buddy Hield, are headed to Indiana. And it's more circled around Halliburton and Domantas Sabonis, which, all-star, I understand. I'm a fan. I love the way Sabonis plays. But I love Tyrese Halliburton just a little bit more. If you go to Twitter and you go to everywhere else, people are saying that the Kings got fleeced. How do you give up Halliburton? What do you think?
I mean, I think that in the long run, Halliburton has a higher ceiling, but I also think he's still not a big of a name right now as Sabonis, and the Kings are just going to Kings. That's what they are. This is every time. I would compare him to the Browns, but the Browns have at least started to piece things together and figure stuff out. The Kings have always been this way. They have been this way forever. Every time you go, all right, well, they got a good pick. Okay, cool. They went and got De'Aaron Fox. I really like that pick of De'Aaron Fox. I thought, hey, you got a guy that you can start building a future around. You just got to add a couple pieces here and there, and you're going to at least have a respectable team to put out on the floor.
Yeah.
Now I feel bad for De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox grew up where I grew up in Cyprus. I feel bad for that kid.
Buddy's gone. He's like, man.
Like he's
like Will Smith.
He's the Will Smith in the end of the Fresh Prince. He's just like,
looking around. Well, I don't
guys,
know. Yeah.
Guys, I put points on the board.
They got
anybody
fleeced.
else? No?
I think they got fleeced. Another big move. How do you guys feel about this? Because we know for years now, when you think of the Portland Trailblazers, you think of Lillard, you think of CJ McCollum, right? That's that pair. And then you always would say, man, if they just put a few pieces around them, and they've tried. They've tried to put big men in there. They've tried to put old men in there with Melo. They've tried a little bit of everything. And it just never seems to get over that hump. Well, C.J. McCollum is going to be down there eating gumbo with Zion Williamson. Hopefully he doesn't blow up in the same fashion. What are your thoughts about that? Are you happy for C.J. McCollum finally to get the breakaway? Is this what Lillard maybe needs so they could build around him? What overall do you think? Because it's got many implications. Does this help the Pelicans and Zion when he finally plays?
I feel more bad for Lillard because there isn't a lot of time left to build around Lillard. He's getting up there in years. And yeah, he's, still okay with basketball. He plays well. But he's not a young spring chicken anymore. You're running out of time. If Portland's going to get him a title, they are running out of time and fast. They need to start making moves and put in well-known commodities. They need to build a super team around him if that's what their goal is. Now, when they had McCollum there, everybody had the same thought. Like, yeah, you had another, not even big name. You had a 3.5, a 4-star name in with them. That's a real thing. And then they went out and they tried Melo. That didn't work. Then, they cycled more and more guys through, but they recycled, they were just retreading guys. They weren't going out there and saying, hey, we're going to make a splash signing to bring in somebody huge to go with them. Even a 4.5 star guy. They never went out there and added something so much where everybody looked around and went, I like the Blazers coming out. I like the Blazers coming out of the West, period, the end. I think everybody else falls behind the wayside. Because while the Blazers were adding smaller pieces and adding, doing this addition by subtraction kind of thing, and the Lakers were still building a roster. The Clippers started building a roster. The Thunder were building a roster for the time being. They ended up tearing their stuff apart. The Jazz are never one to hide away. The Nuggets have been doing well. The Blazers had an idea of, to me, we're going to do something. It's like running a race, but you expect everybody else to sit at the starting line and just wait for you. And you get 2 feet away from the starting line and then they start running. No, all these other teams were making moves too. You were making moves in a vacuum. You weren't making moves to combat their moves. So I think if Damian Lillard wants to win a title, if they don't prove that they can go and get a big name around him this season or in the offseason, he needs to get the hell out of there and fast if he wants a title.
For a while there, when you would think of two-man duos, right, you would also think about Bradley Beal and John Wall. It was like Bradley Beal and Wall, and then you had McCollum and Lillard on this side, and you think like, okay, those are just the two-man tandems. And this is a question for you, Twitch, is it undoubtedly a 3-man world as far as NBA? Do you have to have at least that, not necessarily a big 3, but a 2.5? But then you ask yourself, well, who the hell's the Milwaukee's big 3 then? Because they have Giannis, and then they have a bunch of good players, a bunch of great role players, but not, you see, I said great role players, not great players. So they have a bunch of names. I mean, who's their second guy? Middleton? So when you start naming Drew Holiday, when you start talking about their big 3, do you need a big 3? Are we past the era where you need a big 3? Or do we see, like when the Lakers graphic the other day, is it just so simple to say, man, the big 3, and then they throw up Russell Westbrook up there just because it's the thing to use, man, the big 3. It became so simple. Do we still need the big 3 in today's basketball to be one of those teams? That's the question here. Look at the Bucks and look how that roster broke down. They have a bunch of guys. They've added the Portises of the world. They've added people to that. But look at that. Who's their big 3? Where does Middleton land as a big 3 on many squads? He would be probably the third leg of the big 3.
He'd be the third, but I still think something also can't be overstated for the chemistry that he and Giannis have together. Like, yes, you could try to build, if you were going to build a big 3, and I said you can build any big 3 you want, but Middleton has to be the third. He has to be your 3 of the big 3. He has to be in that third slot. You can put a lot of stuff around him that will make it a great team, but I don't want to overlook the chemistry that he and Giannis have. They've been playing together for quite a few years now. So, a couple of years. But what they have on the court, when you can just plug in other guys around them and both of them can still shine, but without over spotlighting each other, I like what they've done, and I like the way they've built that team.
Yeah,
and I mean, every now and then there are teams that go the big name route, the all-star route. Hey, we're just gonna put as many big names as we can together, and we're gonna try to do it. And then every now and then there's that little engine that comes around and goes, okay, we got a player. We got a lot of try hard guys. We got a lot of heart guys. That's what they call them, heart guys. And every now and then that heart guy, the team of heart guys works. So
that's what's happened with Milwaukee. Let's think back, though, before Giannis went ahead and signed that, they were scared that maybe they needed to get more names there or someone there to make him happy. They got lucky that he's just he said, man, I'm for this. I'm for Milwaukee. I'm for the people of Milwaukee, and I'm going to stay here. They got real lucky that he didn't take the route that a lot of these guys take. Hey, shout out to first time J Money. No, I haven't given out the pick. Shout out to you, first time checking in. Father Steele just says Joe Ingles to Portland. What trades do you want to see, realistic ones? Because why Magic says Russ for Dame. I mean, yeah. Russ and what else? Because that's my next part of this. If you look into last night's game, the Bucks and the Lakers played, and it was a blowout. At one point, it got to about 30 points. Now you're hearing the displeasure. You know LeBron's going to displeasure, and that's who he is. And he went straight after the game and said, "Man, we're not even on the same level." He says it just went to show. But then something else you caught on there is in pivotal points in that game, and you never even saw Russ in the fourth quarter, and he was checked. They took him out with a few minutes left in the third. Now, as it's coming to fruition, it's known that he's not going to be in there in clutch spots, and he doesn't like it. Westbrook came out and said, I shouldn't have to hit any benchmark, to be honest, quote. He also said, I've put a lot of work, and I've got a lot of credentials. I got a lot of respect in this game. I don't got to hit a benchmark, or I shouldn't have to. I've earned the right to be in closing lineups. How much do y'all find that true, that just because he has those accolades on the wall, personal awards, not even team awards, it ain't like he out there, he's got a lot of personal awards, and now all of a sudden you just got to put him out there because it's Russ?
See, this is the problem that somebody needs to get it across to Russ's head. You know, Father Time is undefeated. Nobody plays forever. I said this yesterday. Trees don't grow to the sky. Russ, eventually your game starts to slip, and you aren't the guy who's out there at the very end. Go ask your buddy Carmelo. He knows. He's at least started to come to terms with it. Now, he hasn't 100% come to terms with it. I think he still thinks he should be 100% starting every game for a team.
Remember in Houston, he had to leave for that reason.
Yeah. But he started to at least come with that. Russ needs to have somebody sit down with him and go, dude, you're 33. That's not super old. But the way you play that game, it's taking a toll on your body, and you're not as fast. You're not as fast on your first couple steps as you used to be. You're not carry the team guy anymore. Maybe just take the job that you get. You know, I'm not asking you to go out there and be superhuman and carry a team anymore. That's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to go when you lose a game and you're half the one who has to sit there. Because guess what? If you're the number one guy off the bench, or you're the number two guy off the bench, and you're out there to make sure that your team wins, but then all of a sudden something happens and your team loses, the number 7 guy doesn't get put on the spot on the podium afterwards. The number 7 guy doesn't have to sit there and answer questions of what the hell went wrong. So as much as you like this, well, I got to be the guy. Well, when you're not the guy, when you start to slip, when you start to fail, when you can't carry a team, you don't have to answer the questions if you just acknowledge that and go, okay, I'm here to make the team the best it can be. If that means I'll come off the bench, cool. If that means I start, cool. Sometimes you got to put your ego aside, and there are benefits to doing that.
Father Time is undefeated, and that's right. Now let's check out how that Russ timeline went, though. In OKC, he was able to do personal things, and it was more about what he could achieve personally and those triple-double records. It was more about that because the team wasn't expected to win. It didn't come with any expectations. It just came about what Russ could do. Then whenever you see him move over to the Rockets, for example, you see it came with expectation. Like, his expectation was tied to the expectation that Harden couldn't do it on his own, so then he just needed someone. And that expectation came tied together. All of a sudden, you started tying other things, going to the extremities of saying, well, because they were friends, they're going to get along. Well, you know how friends end up arguing, and you saw how that ended. That was tied to expectation. Then, for whatever reason, the Lakers, out of all people they need in this world, they didn't need a point guard that needs to drive to the hole, and it's just the spacing is different with a point guard like Russell Westbrook, one that can't shoot either. They took the chance. Expectations are there that he can at least do enough to make it easy to facilitate for LeBron James, Anthony Davis, to not lose the game. But when you're out there going 1 for 10 and turning the ball over and hitting the side of backboards, and you want to be in there in crucial moments of the game, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. It's got to be a moment where we step back and say, Russ, you're not who you think you are. And it comes in the point where, like how you said, you could either talk it with a glove on and you say, man, let's just think about being the better guy on the side. Or you just tell them straight up, hey, your shot's not there. Like, I figured that's how they got to be talking to Ben Simmons right now. Like, hey, let's get past it. You're not a shooter. Let's get past that. You're not the same guy that you used to be, Russ. You're not as fast. Let's get past that. And once he gets past it, I'm not sure it's going to be on the Lakers because they need to make a move. They want to.
This is going to sound like a really weird detour. It's not. I know he hates speaking in front of people, and he hates doing the whole public, anxiety and all that stuff. But Zach Greinke would be a great guy to sit down and coach, or to sit down in a room full of superstars that start losing their fastball and explain to them, look, I was the number one guy for how long? And then all of a sudden I realized, well, I can't pitch the same way anymore. I got to change up. I've got to adapt. I've got to fix what I'm doing if I want to compete at the same level and if I want to be part of a team that can compete at that level. And it's paid off for him. I mean, he's had a great career, and a huge success of his career has been when he realized, man, I can't just chuck it up there anymore and blow by people. Oh, well, damn. Maybe if I throw a really, really big breaking curve that nobody can see coming. Cool. He's adapted to know, for my career, for my numbers, for my pocketbook, I need to change how I'm doing things to make sure that I am adaptable to stay on a team. I need to be a team guy and figure out. And he's very good at that. And he needs to say, and NBA guys are completely different. I get that. They are captain divas. It's a freaking league full of wide receivers. But having Zach Greinke sit down with some of those guys and go, hey, reality is going to hit you in the face. It's how you adapt to it. Do you adapt and go, I'm old, I need to trade. I need to figure out what's going on, and I need to put my ego aside and train differently than I have been and realize I'm not 21-year-old superstar anymore.
I'm not a 9-inning guy no more. I can't go, but I could give you a good sixer. I can give you a good fiver.
I can come off the bench. I can give you 12 minutes in the game, and I can score 10 points in that 12 minutes and have 4 assists and no turnovers and maybe get a steal. Or do you go, no, I need to be playing 44 minutes, and I'll come away with 8 points but 18 turnovers?
In which sport of the main three is Father Time the most undefeated in today's? Because you would think football because it takes the most toll on you, and now you're seeing a lot of quarterbacks be able to play. Let's throw Brady aside, because once you're talking about 40-year quarterbacks, it's going to be very few, far in between. But where does it fall off? You're seeing some old pitchers still be. You're seeing that Tommy John doesn't necessarily just throw a whole career away anywhere, like it just doesn't anymore like it used to. Now, can it pop back up and render it, just slow it down in points? Yeah, but you've seen that Tommy John, some can still come back from it. Some can still pitch at a late age. In football, now you're seeing older quarterbacks. Basketball, when do they fall off? Because there's not very many old guys that you're just like, man, and again, we got to throw the LeBrons and the Bradys to the side because these are different specimens. Right? These are LeBron's over here trying to wait for his son. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Have the longevity of LeBron's career at that level, and then they're going to wait for their son, because then the other equation is they got to have a son badass enough to be able to make it to the league. So that's just two equations that I'm not sure I'll ever see again.
No, and as far as a whole sport goes, I don't know. Because that's the thing is that, yeah, you lose a step on the court as a speed guy, but I've been told, and I've talked to, guys who played in the NBA, you never lose your shot, ever. Mm-mm. You can still chuck it up there from 3. If you've got that muscle memory built in, you'll be in your 50s, and you can still just sit there and throw it.
Yeah, Del Curry's still busting.
Yeah. So there is a spot for guys like that the older guys who will put their ego aside and go, you know what? Y'all want to run something, and I'll go and I'll set picks and everything like that. And if I get the open shot, I'll take it every time. But I think the number one position in all of sports is running back. We see it all the time.
Oh, yeah. No,
a running back is there 1 minute and gone the very next.
That's
because
the number
one thing happened. Now, I'm going to ask you this because this is way more your expertise than mine. Soccer. Throw out the Ronaldos, throw out the Messis and stuff like that. Throw out the biggest names.
It seems like these boys could play for a long time now that I think of it when you put it like that. If you think out there, you usually got to take these guys off the field. You got to say, all right, you're not welcome to play in the next World Cup, bro. This is your last World Cup. You see a lot of guys play a lot of work. No, soccer, maybe it's the way that, I'm not going to say it's not physical, but then the way that they take care of themselves. I don't know. I don't know what it is because they don't really have an off season. If you really think about this, I'm just thinking of it on the go right now with you guys. How is that? Because soccer doesn't really have an off season. Soccer, as soon as you're done with your club team, it's like, what? It's a summer of World Cup or it's a summer of Euro Cup. Damn, I got to fly out. I don't get an off season. So it's not like they have time to replenish. It's weird because there's a lot of old soccer players that played their asses off till they were old.
There are, and I think just from my experience playing the game for as long as I did when I was a kid, I think a lot goes to the fact that you're not expected to, like, yes, it's a lot of conditioning. It's more like a cross-country thing than a track thing where you've got to be able to run, but at the same time, you don't have to run as fast as you can the whole time like in basketball. Basketball, you can't just sit there and half-ass several possessions in a row because you'll get yanked immediately. And the internet will make a compilation video of you half-assing it. Look at James Harden.
See it. You can see it.
In soccer, the ball's not on your side of the pitch. Cool. I'm gonna take a breath. I'm gonna wait, and I'm gonna store up as much as I can, and then I'll make that run when I have to at the very last second.
Yeah, it's sporadically.
So that's what it could be.
And it could be. White Magic says the last thing that you lose is your jumper, but Russ never had one. Aggie Milkman makes a great point. Dirk was 41 when he retired, and he came off the bench for Luka. There was no pride in that. Dirk's just built different, though. You know, and Dirk, the best thing that could have happened for Luka was to go to a team with another foreign player that had success at that level. Dirk was that guy. Let's not forget, Dirk was that guy. So then coming into that organization and then having an owner, it just played so well for Luka because having Cuban as your owner, Mark Cuban, doesn't hurt one bit because he's a player's owner. He's going to make sure that you are taken care of in every situation. That's just who he is, and that's why people love to play in Dallas for the Mavericks for whatever reason. And if you think of it, okay, just thinking on the run right here, is there is there a city on top of Dallas that has two more predominant owners for, two of the top three teams? You start thinking big markets, but again, this is Cuban and Jerry Jones. So let's just to make it easier, tell yourself where do you rank Cuban and Jerry Jones as far as owners and how known they are? Jerry Jones is at the top. So there's really not. So then if you're gonna have to find somebody that's equivalent to Cuban at least to even compare as far as a city. You see what I'm saying? It's real tough. Dallas got two monsters.
They do. I mean, of course, you look at L.A., you've got the Buss family, and then you've got Stan Kroenke, who owns the Rams.
That's big. That's pretty
a big one. You've got James Dolan, who owns the Knicks, and what is it, Hal Steinbrenner now, who's running the Yankees. And you've got Steve Cohen, who owns the Mets, who's now just spending up a storm for failure. And
when you think of like Dolan and the Steinbrenners, you think more of the family, right? But with Jones, you think of more like, don't get me wrong, now his son's involved and whatnot. But when you think of Jerry Jones, you just think of, Jerry Jones. When you think of Cuban, you think of a one-man Cuban. It's just weird. And like I said, I'm thinking out loud to you guys. And it's when you really break it down like that, what other city compares? Throw them out there right now. I want to know because you got some pretty good ones right there. And those are comparable. The L.A., the New York markets, the Denver market. When you start throwing different ones out, it's pretty funny to try to put them together and say, man, who can outdo those guys? Because you got Cuban and Jerry Jones. 281-522-6336. We went long on this one. Let's get to...
Before we move on, I got one more for you.
What you got?
Gail Benson. She owns both the Pelicans and the Saints.
Damn, I want that kind of money.
Yeah.
That's the kind of money and power because you can have money to do both, but usually someone isn't able to acquire both. You gotta have money.
It was her and her husband who bought the teams and ran them together. But ever since the late Tom Benson departed us, yeah, she now runs them both.
I want that paper. Is she single?
Probably.
Google that.
75.
Does she have a Twitter? Google that. Did I just lose my wife? Google that. Expect the unexpected, or this is a Purdue segment here that you guys are going to like. Expect the unexpected, or let's get to this first slide here. Are we going to expect the unexpected? Was it a matter of time before there was some kind of Bitcoin scams, and we know that there's been a lot of them, but we're talking about when you start talking about billions with a B, you're like, all right, tell me more. You hear probably little scams, 1,000 here, they send something for here. When you start hearing billions, was it a matter of time before this happens? And is this something that we're going to see going forward, as we've seen a couple, what is it, 5.6 billion allegedly stolen by married couple.
3.6.
Or 3.6,
Yeah,
I'm
3.6.
sorry. Now they're in big trouble. Paper trails. People use Bitcoin because they say that it doesn't really leave a paper trail. Well, that's how they ended up getting caught. And you know there's someone out there right now that's in the middle of a Bitcoin scam themselves, and they're like looking at this, like, man, I'm next.
Yeah, get out. Get out. This is the problem with things. They were trying for $3.6 billion worth of crypto.
Billion.
What always happens? Guess what? There are 5 people who are now have enough money in the bank from $2.2 million. They can retire for life, and they're just going to wait it out, wait till the dust settles, and then, turn 38, 39, 40 and go, you know what? I'm sorry. I've been sitting on this nest egg for so long. Where'd you get it? I don't know. But I think I'm done working here. I'm going to go sit on a beach in Cozumel for the rest of my life. Those are the ones who don't get caught. You go for billions of dollars. How dumb and greedy are you? It's always the greedy ones. It's always the bank robber who robs one extra bank that you hear of.
It's always the one that goes back the second time. The one that gets 2 handfuls of M&Ms. Just grab 1 handful. You didn't need that second handful. That's the one that gets caught. And they got caught here. It's the largest seizure. And when it comes to something like this, we're talking about, again, billions. There's someone out there that just got ripped off for $100,000 right now. That's what's happening in this crypto world. It's supposed to be paperless, but they were tracked down. And now they got to face the consequences. Let's get to the next slide here. 281-522-6336. Get in on the show at any point. Peloton. I'm not sure if they came out at the just exact time during a pandemic. Didn't help them out, I don't believe, because if you ever went to go look at how many of them Peloton things, the workout equipment cost, it was expensive, and they've laid off over 2,800 employees. But if you're an employee, you do get, and everyone's laughing at this, a Peloton monthly membership will be complimentary for 12 months. Is that a good thing or a bad thing, or is that a kick in the, like, what do I need this for?
I mean, I can speak to this a little bit. When you get relieved of duty by a company, the last thing you want to do is have to pay attention to that company for a while. It's just like a bad breakup. Maybe you don't hate the company, but there's still some bad blood there, and you want some time to, let those feelings go away. You want to not deal with them anymore. You want to just kind of, it's just like a bad breakup. You don't go to the same bars you used to go to with your ex for a while. You go to a couple of different bars. You go to a couple of different restaurants. You go hang out with your friends on a different side of town because you don't want to run into them and go, oh, damn it, I got to look at your damn face again.
Yeah.
This is Peloton literally going, hey, we don't want you anymore. Oh, but by the way,
hit the
you can work out with us, and you can look at the people we decided to pay instead of you on this workout bike every day for the next year.
Todd the Show makes a great point. They sold like hotcakes. We got a call coming in here. 281-522-6336. Let's see who we got.
So, yeah, I mean, Todd, you're right. At the beginning of the pandemic, that was the whole point, was that they made a killing, and now that the pandemic is slowing down, now that people are going back to gyms or just realizing, I'm not going to get in shape, just screw it, I'm just going to eat more pizza. Yeah, business is down. Surprise, surprise.
What's going on? You're on Moneyline. Oh, I think they just hung up after we answered it. Whoever that was calling, 281-522-6336. Go ahead and call us back. Todd the Show, they sold like hotcakes at the beginning of the pandemic, and they did. But then as soon as he makes a great point, as soon as those gyms went back open, it was like, damn, what did we do? At least, who's going to buy this for $7,499?
Well, yeah, you got people looking at it and going, I spent $5,000 to hang my clothes on there to dry or to, push it out of the way. Like, it ain't happening. It was a novel, or it wasn't even a novel idea, because people sell treadmills and ellipticals and exercise bikes all the time. They just went and put an iPad in the center of it and said, okay, you can work out at home. And people at first went, oh, this is awesome. This means I don't have to go to the gym, blah, blah, blah. Oh, but you're spending so much money. Oh, but I'll use it every day. Sweetie, I promise, I'm going to get back to my playing weight. Remember how good I looked when I played basketball in college? I'm going to get back to that. Chirp, 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 chirp. A couple weeks later, couple months later, a year later.
The intentions are there. Like, you come out of the gates, the intentions are there. You come out running too fast. You hit that sidewalk. You even got new workout gear. You're like, damn, these knees better work. And you get out there and you start working out. You know how it is when you start working out. The intentions are there until about day 3. And you're like, man, I just can't do it like this. Like, I'm not as good as I once was. Like the country song says, I'm not as good as I once was. You know what? We're gonna cut this off here, but we're gonna come back after break to this because we've hit a halfway point. I know we're going over today. You guys are work. I'm telling you, once we get into these tandems, I love the way we got this interactive, the interactiveness of the show. We get to go back and forth. We're gonna take a break here, but you know what time it is. Line up those marbles, Aaron. Right now, when Aaron pulls it up, for all you new listeners, hit !play. Whoever gets first gets a whole week in the group. That's a $50 value. I'll give you a week in the group. That means you're going to get the Super Bowl picks for free. Goodness. And then the other 4, so the top 5, the other 4 are going to get a square in our Super Bowl squares, which are free, and it's going to have some types of prizes, some free time in the group and whatnot. So stay tuned right here. Aaron's going to get you set up. Hit !play, and we'll be right back. Odd Takes.
All right, guys, now, !play, no spaces. Type it in the chat on Twitch. Sorry, YouTube, it doesn't work on there. Make sure you get to Twitch if you want to play. !play will throw your marble in the race. There you go. People are starting to dial in. Let me check my fancy timer here. I'll give you 60 seconds. You want in 60 seconds from now. !play. $20 seconds, guys. 20 seconds. Starting in 10. !play if you want in. Here we go. All right, here we go. We're off. Everybody bouncing around first. Let's see if we can actually get somebody in first place. Cuse Orange, there you go. Singing Fly now jumping out in first. Cuse Orange, Todd the Show in third. Todd the Show jumping out to a good lead. We got Biggie right behind him, though. We got Clue Patron on the other side, on that other one. Johnny Casham now leading. Todd's back in first. Oh, Todd got stuck. And Texan 1782. There you go. Taking the lead there. Clue Patron right behind him, though. This race ain't over. Man, bouncing around like crazy up here. Clue Patron back in first. Pellyrat in second. Ooh, Pellyrat took the lead. Now Texan's back in first. We got Clue Patron, Pellyrat, Cuse Orange all sitting there right at the beginning. Right towards the end. TL Zance, was this Lance Zierlein's burner? Shouldn't you be grading draft picks and stuff like that? Oh, there you go. TL Zance gets the first place win. Clue Patron right behind him. Pellyrat, Texan 1782, and then Jensen. All right, so the top 5 of you guys are going to be put on the squares for the Super Bowl coming up. So hang out there, guys. We'll be back in a couple of minutes, and we'll get the rest of this underway.
Yeah, welcome back, Marbleheads. This is what I'm gonna call you. I see there's another conspiracy going on. My man Chuck says this is rigged. We're seeing one marble. They say he's got blue balls as marble. Shout out to all the blue balled marbles. Who was the winner on this one? Tiz Ants. Tiz Ants with the win. Make sure that you reach out to me on Twitter. Go ahead and Twitter. You could do, I was going to say Facebook because I got a little thing going on over there, but hit me on Twitter. Let me know that you won. Now, how do we verify that it's just not who's Tiz Ants? How do we verify?
I think that might be Lance Zierlein's burner.
All right. Well, hit me up.
I could be wrong. But
hit me up.
Either that or he's the biggest Lance Zierlein fan ever, and he decided to mix up the letters.
Before we get going, again, expect the unexpected. Please do us a big favor. Go over to YouTube real quick, hit the thumbs up, and then come right back. Let's get these numbers up, man. I want to get it into the 50s eventually. Then we're going to get into the hundreds, and who knows what happens after that. Our plan is to eventually get this live from a bar, so we can do it at the bar for the people that show up live and for you at home watching. Imagine that. Imagine what kind of party that is, and that's what we're going to try to do for you guys. Whenever I go to Vegas, hopefully I can try to figure out a way to run a show and everything that in between. So let's get back to expect the unexpected. Whoever you were, 588, call back, 281-522-6336. We'll get you through the line if you were calling for the 3-day package. If you were calling to tell us, hey, you're wrong about something, 281-522-6336. Deadly Hill is the next thing we're going to get to. The Deadly Hill. What's your first reaction when you're at home and you see, say you wake up and there's a big-ass spider within the vicinity, within like, man, if that spider wants to get to me, it very well can. What's your first reaction?
Burn the house down, move cities, move states. I don't care.
You're
If I were to
anti-spider.
see- yeah, spiders, snakes, they can go straight to hell.
Me too. I'm right there with you. Possums you could throw in there as well. I don't like them. Yeah, one time, man, I stepped on a pregnant spider, and I saw, when I lived in these apartments, and I saw the babies run everywhere. You know, like you step on it and the pouches, pa. And I've never been the same ever since that moment. I'm glad I'm able to use this as therapy at the Odd Takes therapy table. I need to talk to somebody about it. Ever since then, I want you to get it in your mind so then you can't get over it. I popped the spider, at which point all these little babies went over there. And they were little where you couldn't even see it. At which point I was just stomping, and I was stomping in places I didn't even see spiders just to make sure. And then I saw whenever I dustpanned them up, there was quite a few. I know I didn't get all the spiders. Bless whoever lives in that apartment nowadays.
They're probably dead by now.
Those spiders are big now. That arachnophobia.
Yeah, no thank you. Nope, not doing it.
Either way, the horror moment, young woman, check this out. She jumps out of bed. This is the spider. And then this is what happens. If you're like, what the hell is that? Well, scroll down a little bit more and we're going to tell you. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's visual.
I'm one of those that I can't even look.
Oh.
Jumping out of bed, messing with this spider. She said she was about to hit it, at which point the spider it jumped like a spider monkey. Whoop. At which point she tried to jump off right into a hill.
First off, you shouldn't have stiletto heels that are that thin and sharp and pointy and all that fun stuff.
Ooh, I can't even look at it.
Punctured and went inside her foot. No. I get it. I'm a guy. I like women in heels. They call it ass jackers for a reason. It makes the goods look good. But if they're that sharp, no. What the hell's the matter with you?
Those are weapons. And this is what happened. Expect the unexpected. They didn't expect this. They were trying to make a run for their lives. I would rather got bit by the little spider. A little useless, maybe just a little spider bite, or would you rather have the heel through your foot?
Keep in mind, that wasn't no little spider. That was what they call a huntsman spider. And they're, I think, only in Australia, or they're predominantly in Australia.
So you're a spider.
They're like the size of like the medium size one, or the size of my hand.
Yeah, see, I'm running. Aaron Rabel,
Like-
the Spider King.
No. Ugh.
What else did we not expect? Expect the unexpected. Be right back. Had to mute this story.
We're moving on. Behan, we're moving on.
I can't even
No
look
worries
at the
about
screen.
it now. No worries about it now.
Expect the unexpected here. We're seeing videos of A.J. Brown circulating, and he's quite the baseball player. I didn't really know, but come to find out there's a history of this. He could have, many said, gone pro. He played at the collegiate level. He was a baller on the diamond, we can say. And now it brings me to the thought of can we ever expect a two-way professional, player in sports, in two different sports, and the main ones?
I mean, my instinct is to say no, but I'm not going to rule out, we'll get to the one obvious one. But a guy like Russell Wilson, who was drafted and played, who was in spring training still in the offseason with, who was the last team that had him? The Rangers, I guess?
Yeah, he showed up.
He still shows up. He shows up and he does batting practice and he throws and stuff like that, and that's all he does. And then he goes back to Seattle. And,
No, he prays with them too.
yeah, that too.
He holds prayer. That's what he does.
That's what the Rangers need.
But I asked because you think, okay, and we were spoiled if you were a 90s kid, but you had Dion. You had Bo Jackson. At the level, will we ever see that again? Will we ever see that again at that level? And maybe you start saying, well, Kyler Murray, he was a top 10 MLB pick. Do you think that at one point, maybe expect the unexpected. We know that there's rumors out going around right now that maybe he's not that happy. And if you look at why, he's owed a little bit under $1 million for his contract, but then he's got a bonus, and it's tied to it. Gives him about $5.4 million. But if you think about Kyler Murray, maybe not what you saw of last, but what you know of Kyler Murray can be, you figured, hey, maybe he should be getting paid a little more. And he's looking for job security, at which point he's not getting it. Maybe he feels the water's getting a little hot, right? Maybe the seat's getting a little hot in Arizona. He's not producing. Coach Kingsbury's not producing like they're expected to. Do you think the seat's getting a little hot? He went to his social medias and took everything Cardinals related down. Is there a shot being thrown here by Kyler Murray? Is this for real?
So I have two different theories. One is I feel a little bit better about than the other. One, it could be that he's thrown a fit because he doesn't like the negative press that he's not delivering how he should. Now, I'll say this. Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, those are two of the pioneers of the immediate transfer portal. Kyler Murray was at Texas A&M, couldn't hack it, and decided, screw this, I'm leaving. Where are you going? I'm going to go to Oklahoma where they win Heismans and, just put up sick numbers for nothing. Okay, cool. Baker Mayfield did that before him. And so now you're seeing a guy who's met with adversity, and instead of like most college kids had to deal with adversity, a lot of them who are older in the league now, you get hit with adversity at your first school that you signed on to. You signed a contract to play there. Instead of just going, I'm out, they had to dig in and learn to get better and learn to get better and learn to get, and that's how they ended up in the damn league. Kyler Murray's been riding pure athletic talent his entire life. Mm-hmm. I have not seen any type, and I don't know him personally. I don't know his entire life story. I've never read the autobiography of Kyler Murray or his dad or anything like that, but I've never seen a situation in his life where he's been presented with hardcore adversity, something that you wouldn't think he would be able to go through. Something that most people would take it and run and not be able to handle it, where an athlete goes and drives through it and ends up becoming something better for it. I've never seen Kyler Murray do that. And so that's one of my theories. My other theory is this being Super Bowl week, this being media week, where all these different players are doing stupid endorsement deals for, whatever. Oh, go to Bob's Chop Shop if you want the coolest new wheels in town. Is this all done as a stunt for publicity for whatever endorsement he's going to launch on like Super Bowl Sunday? He's going to put out a thing on like Saturday night of just a post of like a black image or a black screen with, I can't hide this anymore. Or I can't hide how I feel. And then Sunday you wake up and you look and he's like, go and buy Tabasco. They got a brand new bold flavor.
Would you take Kyler Murray right now? Aggie Milkman said he's a spoiled brat. Would you take Kyler Murray out there right now, Twitch, for example? Funny you say the transfer portal. If you're an Eagles fan, would you switch him out for Jalen Hurts and some players? If you're a Texans fan, would you switch him out and try to get him in there to refill the shoes that were once for, that helmet that once held Deshaun Watson? Would you take Murray right now to, that's the direction I'm going with him, or do you rather see how this plays out and go for another quarterback? Would you rather have another quarterback in the next few years that the Texans are probably going to get because they're going to be bad, so they'll have a draft pick at one point? Would you rather take the chance, or you'd rather go with Kyler Murray? What do you think, Texans fan, right now?
Tizay says, no, he's too short. Fair enough. I don't think it's a good idea. I think, Arizona traded away Josh Rosen and a bunch of picks so they could get him, so they could go up and draft Kyler Murray. Let them deal with him. If it turns out to be a fail again, that's your fault, Steve Keim. That's your fault, Cliff Kingsbury. You want to do this? You made your bed, now lay in it. If he doesn't want to be there, well, guess what? He's like 4, 5, 6 other quarterbacks in the league right now who are throwing their fits and stomping their feet. I don't want to be here anymore. Cool. You signed a contract. Either get out there or don't get paid.
Problem is, I think somebody's going to pay him. I think somebody will pay him. Maybe not what he's looking for, but somebody will pay him. Let's see somebody that got paid unexpectedly on this next one. Retired nun embezzles money from the school to pay for her gambling habits. I'm sure not. This isn't the first time that this has happened or someone that's gotten caught, but is that unexpected? Is a nun not supposed to be gambling? Or obviously they're not supposed to be taking the money. How do you feel about this? Do you trust the nun not to gamble?
No.
Is it frowned upon? Is it a sin because supposedly gambling's supposed to be some kind of sin, not on this show.
I mean, is it a sin technically? I guess. I don't know. I haven't read my commandments in a while.
Joel Osteen steals from people all the time.
But the problem is the stealing. If you got that kind of money, like, I don't know what a nun makes in salary. I don't know, because I know that they're supposed to have their own place, like, living in, right? Like, they don't have their own houses. They all live together, right? So, I don't know. I think that if she didn't steal the money, like, if she just had this money that she was gambling, and they were like, hey, don't gamble, that's fine. She's an adult. She's allowed to do whatever she wants. But the stealing of $800,000 because you got a gambling problem and you can't control that, that's where I cross that line.
Yeah. I can see the theory behind it. For sure. I agree with you. No nun should be stealing, but it doesn't really surprise me. It just doesn't. I've seen just too many of these church folks stealing. Start with Osteen. That's the pit boss. Whenever you walk in, and if say you don't make it to heaven, say you go to hell. When you walk in, Joel Osteen's the pit boss in hell. You walk up and you try to cash in you give him 100, he gives you back $97. You're like, damn, I'm already losing. That's what Joel Osteen does as the pit boss in hell. Let's get to lightning round. Let's get to the lightning round. Man, we've gotten so backed up in the show through all these things. Check this bet out. There was a crazy bet yesterday. When I say crazy, I'm talking about $1 to almost $100,000 crazy. Pull up this and tell me what was the thought process between this guy that placed a $1 18-team parlay, $96,989.29. I tell him keep the change. Look at this parlay. Is this a parlay you make when your life's almost over? Like what was the theory here? Like he maybe only had like $8, $9 left, $10, and he only put the $1 like on his account? Or is it a matter of, man, he could have put 5 or 10 on this and it could have really paid? He made a few of these, or was this the last dollar in his account? There's so many questions here.
Well, that's the thing, is that if you're just randomly, honestly, any type of parlay like that, anything over like a 4-leg parlay, it's a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
First off. Second off, either he picked all this crap out of his ass and was just like, oh, that one looks good. Oh, that looks good. Or he did enough handicapping to look back at score history and data and all that stuff to come up with the numbers on all of these. And if he did that, good on him. Congratulations. But if he was one of those guys that went, you know what, let's just throw this and this and this. It's like shopping at the grocery store when you're hungry. I'm going to throw this in my cart. I'm going to throw this in my cart. I'm going to throw this in my cart. Okay, cool. You got 18 things. Cool, let's parlay them all. Let's see what happens. If that's what happened, come on, man. You got luckier than lucky. You're never going to get that lucky again, dude.
Check it in with YouTube, people. Always one team says all the favorites in the NBA hit and covered. Yeah, that's crazy. It's been going on like that. My man knows it's gambling because that's exactly, it's been a favorites world for the last few days. Everyone's cleaning house in the NBA. At one point, I think it was 15-0 over 2 days. All favorites. But look at this ticket. It was all first halves at that. This is straight up a lottery ticket. 18. I just asked myself, was this the last dollar in his account? Did he have like a 20 and he just made a whole bunch of $1 bets? What the hell? And who is this person? Help me find him. We got to get him or her on this show. Check out this next one though, from Shine to this. In yesterday's game. And keep take a look at that score. It's a 10-point game. It's an 11-point spread. And we've seen this before. In football, it's the equivalent of running and then sliding sliding before you get the touchdown until you can run the clock out. But this, like, he stops and then thinks about it and then dunks it anyways as a disrespect, right? You think maybe he stopped because it's a disrespectful type of thing. He stops. You're like, nah, I can't win this. He's like, nah, you know what? I'm going to make you hurt some more. Take this. What? if you had that bet, go to church. Go to Joel Osteen's Pit Boss. Because that's a bad beat if I've ever seen one.
How many people who donate to that athletic program at Kentucky had them on the point spread and are now calling for that kid's scholarship?
Oh, and you know they bet.
Get him off the team. You know what? I lost 10 grand on that kid. Get him off the team. Pull his scholarship.
It's bad news. How do you feel if you lost your bet that way? You got to feel a certain type of way. It's just, it's not okay. And you got to wake up today, and if you get beat that way, but it happens. That's the equivalent of, you've seen it now in the NFL. It's become real popular, real cute now for said NFL player to run. And he looks, call it smart. I know. It ain't smart for us when we're chasing an over or we need that touchdown. They're not worried about that or our fantasy teams. And you saw it. They start talking about fantasy teams. I'm like, man, forget the fantasy. We're betting money here. Aaron found something. Let's get to this lightning round, and Aaron found something right before we went on air, and let people know about this.
So what you see here, all of y'all, is a picture of, let's see, what's that, 5x5, 25 different women topless. Now, this was tweeted out a couple hours ago.
No, these are not mug shots.
8 a.m. this morning by Adidas, and it's still up there. You can go at Adidas, and it is 25 women topless to promote their new sports bra. And I'll read the actual quote. I'll read the tweet to you, and then we'll go over, the best part of it. We believe women's breasts in all shapes and sizes deserve support and comfort, which is why our new sports bras range contains 43 styles so everyone can find the right fit for them. Explore the new Adidas sports bra collection at link #supportiseverything.
This was their campaign. Who's in charge of that?
Now, we can't show it, obviously, because we'll get kicked off of Twitch. We'll get kicked off of YouTube because of nudity. I know. I will tell you this right now. Adidas knew what they were doing because they didn't post this on Instagram. They didn't post it on Facebook because they got yanked for that.
Twitter, they're like...
They know Twitter. Twitter's the Wild West. What do you want to show? You want to show some Riley Reid clips? Cool. Twitter. Hey, let's do that, but let's just do 25 pairs of tits. And that's what they did. And you can go and, like I said, it's still up there. The retweets, the comments, they are some of the best. And they are catching it in every way. And not because people don't like seeing boobs. Everybody likes seeing boobs. Guys like seeing boobs. Girls like seeing boobs. They're awesome. I've never seen... again, I like boobs in all shapes and sizes. Cool. You got them? Flaunt them if you want to. But a lot of women are getting pissed at going, did y'all not think this through? Could you not have put them in the sports bras to show the supporting factor instead of just showing, hey, here's some bare titties? And their response was, oh, no, we want to celebrate and we want to show that it's just part of the human body. It's normal. It's everything.
What are they going to do next with men's
and then
underwear?
all these women are going, cool, so I can look forward to a big collage of dick pics when you start doing, hey, buy the new jock strap.
I'm reporting
It'll
them.
hold the twins underneath. It'll hold your twig and berries nice and firm while you're playing sports.
No, if that happens, I'm reporting them right away. That's just... This was the model that they tried to take. Whose job was it to do this? And then Aaron caught it right away. Like, man, we just couldn't show it to you. But if you want to go see it, go look on Adidas because this is where people are going now. You know what pisses me off? I know you've caught it out there watching those football games, basketball games. Now they're showing old ass on TV. Like it'll be like the old underwear. Oh, like, man, I don't need to see old 77-year-old ass. Like, I understand the underwear hold up the ass and they use the word support. I feel that. I'm all about the supporting of the old folk.
They knew what they were doing.
You seen the 77-year-old ass, and then it's followed by the blue pill commercial right after because 77-year-old man's looking, he's like, and then he looks down. The next commercial comes up, and then he's like, I need that to match this.
So obviously Adidas knew what they were doing. They did this because they want to get the publicity. They want the free promotion out of it because this is going to make every single blog you go to tomorrow is going to have this covered. Every single radio show you tune into tomorrow is going to talk about this in some way, shape, or form. But one Twitter user went out and at Abigail17, hopefully I don't blow up this chick's DMs or anything like that, just scrolling through these responses, this is a little bit new. I hadn't seen this one. She decided to go to the actual Adidas website and screenshot the actual bras that they're selling now, these sports bras, they're all the same type of women. They're all the same type of boobs. They're all the same shape. They're all the same fit women, but they're not tweeting that out. So they were doing this for attention. They did this 100%.
They're doing it for shock value.
Yep.
We got our people right now. Everyone's over there going to Adidas right now. You sinners. I hope you see old ass right now. I hope old ass comes across your Alexa. Hey Alexa, showed everyone old ass. Let's move over to the lightning round. Man, it's already 2:00. What do you think? We give him injury time? We get out of here.
Let's give him a couple more minutes.
Let's give him injury time. We ain't going nowhere. Injury time, and it's up to Aaron if we want to run the new race. So we'll just give you a few more topics here. We can't keep this man here all day long. He's a busy man. I gotta keep him. I gotta keep him here as long as I can. And y'all want to throw in marble races and all stuff like that? Let me throw in this. Harden odds. We talked about, will James Harden end up on which team? Will Daryl Morey get his way? Well, if you go to bet right now, the 76ers are minus 275. That means you have to put 275 to win 100 on the 76ers. The Celtics are second for whatever reason. The Heat, Clippers, Knicks, Raptors. Do you think that this has any, is there any feel to this? Is there any ground to stand on and say, man, that's crazy. If it's 275, the books know something.
I feel like, I don't know. I think they're just trying to be safe with it. They want to make sure that they're covering all their bases because that's their job. Their job is to cover all their bases, make sure. I think they're just going to go on the media reports. Like I said the other day, I don't think he's getting moved yet. I think he'll end up finishing the season probably in Brooklyn. But if you're an odds maker, you got to throw it out there and you got to give him the shortest odds.
Got to.
Because that's what makes the most sense right now with the Morey connection.
Morey's going to make it work one way or another. Shout out to RDM977, Bo, my guy. Whoever you are, hey, you're my guy as well. My man Ivan. I didn't even know that was Ivan on YouTube. Thank you for checking out the show. Like I said, everyone on here right now, we need you guys to always hit the thumbs up on YouTube. We need you to go ahead and share it. Whenever you see us share it on Twitch or on Twitter, go ahead and retweet that. Go to your Facebook, post those links, because that's how we could get this crowd up. We always hover around, combine about 30 people. Hopefully we get this to 50 and then 100. And then who knows what happens at that point. But that's what we're trying to get to. That's why we try to bring you everything in the form that we bring it in, with energy and all these little, the bells and the whistles. And the bells and whistles today are going to end with another race. So without leaving you holding anymore, again, this is going to be just 5 squares, not the week. The last race, we only do 5 squares. Top 5, get a square. Whenever Aaron tells you exclamation point play, hit that. And I ain't got nothing else. This is all it takes. Thank you so much. Make sure you check in every single day from 1 to 2. I'm Jerry Bo at Jerry Bo Sports. That's Aaron Rabel at Aaron is Blitz. Thank you so much for checking in with us. We're going to make sure the next 2 days, I'm going to bring in some guests these next few days. Me and Aaron are going to give you a crazy show for the Super Bowl. We're going to give you props. We're going to give you bets. We're going to give you teasers. I'm going to give you everything that I got. We're going to do it together. The bet right now, if you want to catch it live, I'm going to be betting some money on Tottenham over. But everyone that tuned in here, I forgot that it was at 145. So I'm going to give you some NBA bets. Hit me up that you were watching the show, and I'm going to throw you my card for free on Twitter. Hit me up on message. Everyone that was here today that wants the card for free today, it's on me. So shout out to everyone, and I got to get out of here. Peace.
All right, guys, you want to race? You want to play this? We'll do this one time before we end the show. Exclamation point play gets you in there. Type it in the chat. Exclamation point play, no spaces. I'll give y'all 60 seconds to sign in. 60 seconds. Exclamation point play on that Twitch chat. Come on. "30 seconds and we hit play. 30 seconds and we start this race. Come on. Exclamation point play in the chat if you want in. Top 5 are going to get on the squares. All right, here we go. Our guy Joel Hernandez there in first. Pelly Rat's swinging in. Oh, by the way, guys, you have no control over these cars. This is all just randomized through a computer, so stop mashing your keyboard. Pelly Rat takes the lead. There you go, out there gaining on Joel Hernandez. Johnny Casham in third, following behind. Man, y'all can't drive for shit. I'm kidding. Y'all have no control over this. Pelly Rat still leads the pack. Joel in second, Johnny Casham in third, Clue Patron in fourth, Jensen in fifth. Oh, by the way, I think this is a 3-lap race too, so y'all got some time here. Just because somebody's in first now doesn't mean they're going to be in first in 3 laps. Yeah, we got to change it to a 1-lap race after this. Pelly Rat still got that lead on him. Johnny Casham and Jensen not too far behind. Clue Patron in fourth, Joel in fifth. Final lap coming up here. Pelly Rat still with a good sizable lead. Wonder if that car is going to be able to hold up though for that final lap. Johnny Casham's still not far behind, so is Clue Patron. Gotta hope Pelly Rat just like runs off the road at this point, maybe. Ooh, here we go. Oh, going up the hill. Pelly Rat's got that NOS up there. Congrats to Pelly Rat on winning the race. Remember, guys, top 5 are all going to be on the Super Bowl squares. And we will see you guys tomorrow here at 1 o'clock. Make sure you tell your friends, tweet out the link, post it on Facebook, post it on Insta, post it on Snapchat, send it to your side piece. Get as many people watching us as you can. Have a great day. Go enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And we'll talk to you tomorrow.